Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So, in last episode, we did a little bit more scouting all the way up until the draft, and basically we found a couple of good prospects, I would say, that are at least looking into and that we might end up drafting. Also, like I was saying, we were assimilating, and we are now 0-85, still looking for our first win in franchise history, which is probably not going to come this entire season. It'll probably take multiple seasons at least, but our team has been pretty dreadful at this point, so it's going to be very interesting to see what our team is doing when we actually get to more of a team that could actually start winning some games. Like, it might take us a few years to win our first game in franchise history, but yeah, it's an interesting draft class. There's not, I would say, the best amount of Asians in this draft class. There is, I think I counted like 22 total of them. And the most interesting one to us is this Walter Jung guy. He has apparently an 87 to a 99 potential. He's going to be maybe a little bit of a lower end player at the start, but he's more of like a project kind of guy. But I am still very intrigued with him. He's only 19 years old, so hopefully he ends up developing into being something decent if we do end up drafting him. I think I'm probably, since he was drafted, his draft rank was not listed, I think I'm going to wait till at least round 2 to pick him up, because there is some other guys I wouldn't mind in round 1. So I think I'll probably take him in round 2 instead. That way we're kind of playing it safe, because he might not be the best person in the world. He might have still a good he might be a 47 overall, 87 potential, but he also could have that 99 potential. But I don't think he's a first round talent. I think he's a guy that goes in like the competitive round balance picks or in the second round. So that's probably where we're going to lean towards taking Jung. And then there's a lot of other solid players as well that could end up being decent. Some might not be. But I'm hoping that we could obviously find some good steals in this draft, and hopefully not any of the Asians get taken by other teams, because they're all that's just going to make it trickier for us. But obviously we're going to add every single Asian that's in this draft class that we've known about to our draft ranking thing, and that way we can basically see if there's still some on the board when we get to that point. But anyways, before we get into the draft and seeing what we actually end up with, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode. So the first comment is from Nick Bucker, Barons OC, who says Yujiro Hatashi is a great round 6 or round 5 pitching option. So he's saying that this Yujiro Hayashi, I still can't pronounce these damn names. Hayashi, though, is going to be a pretty decent pick for like a round 5 or 6 option. So he might be what we end up going with in a round 5 situation. Our scouts still don't have him ranked as he's actually getting drafted, but the MLB doesn't either. But once we have him fully scouted, maybe that draft rank will actually change to like where he should be projected to go around. So we'll have him still getting scouted out for the final week of scouting, because there is still one more week left before the draft ends up happening. The next comment is from Dylan Burrows, who says, Walter looks like a two-way player. I would 100% check that. He has high fielding stats. If he has high fielding stats like that, it's almost always a two-way player. Check his hitting stats. So he's thinking that he's a two-way player, but we were looking the other day, and there's no way actually to see his hitting stats, so I don't think he's a two-way player. He might be still a two-way player, but there's only his, basically his pitching-oriented stuff. We can't see anything batting-wise when I'm doing, the toggle attributes, so I don't know for sure if he's a two-way player or not. But it would be very nice if he is a two-way player, because it would be nice to start building up people that could play every single position basically in that sense, because that makes it a little bit easier when you have guys that could actually do two things rather than one, because if they only could play one position, then you kind of have to have them walk to that area. And the next comment is from State of the Franchise Gaming, who says, I can actually confirm that after a couple of years, some of the lesser Asian players will retire, and then the draft will not produce more than a handful of Asian players, which to trade for, but they'd never become even, it says 4As, but it's probably AAA players. I literally just did a rebuild where I had the field of team of them, and I was ticked off. LOL. Maybe playing games with them might make it some of these players better than their potentials are currently. I have faith in your GM skills, Snipe. And thank you for that. I think what's going to make it easier for us is obviously because we're not just drafting from Japan and stuff like that. We're also drafting from within the States. But if they're like a second generation Asian, that should help out with some things. Also, the fact that I think we're going to be doing kind of dynamic potentials. So if a player has a really good season, their potential could get jacked up from a C potential to a B potential, that type of thing. So I think that will also help with us potentially being able to actually win a World Series with a team like this. But obviously it's going to take a lot of time. And the last and final comment is from Michael Dosius. Says, I didn't like the idea of drafting Asian players only, but after watching today's episode, I was saying, why not? Makes it interesting as no one is doing this. And I think so too. I think it's going to make it more interesting, just kind of making it as hard as possible on us in a sense, because last time I did a draft to glory, it took me a while still to win a World Series with the team, but I wanted to kind of give it a chance to be a little bit more difficult and kind of narrow it down a bit. Also, with a team playing in Tokyo, it just kind of makes it a little bit cooler to only draft Asian players. So that's obviously what we're going to be doing. But those were the comments I got in last episode. Also, one thing I did want to mention about comment-ish I wanted to mention is that Nick came up with this design for a kind of like a player called for Walter Jung. So that is maybe who we're going to be in drafting, but it's a kind of a nice little card art. If you guys want to make fan art for the series, you guys can too, but obviously just make sure I guess you could email it to me. You could also like probably put it in the Discord if you're in the Discord, that type of thing, and that way I could actually get to it. But anyways, let's continue assimilating for one more week and then get into our first draft and see if we actually make some good decisions. I feel like this draft, I'm not too comfortable going into it. It could be because I'm a little bit half asleep here in a sense, because I was literally just at the gym earlier, but I am excited to see what we end up getting. I think we're going to get at least one good player, but at the same time, I don't really know how much I trust my drafting skills, because it has been a while since I've done a draft in an MLB game, because we last did a series before this like 5+ months ago, so it's been quite a while since we've actually drafted and hopefully picked great prospects. So let's get through these games here and see how we do this week. So we only scored 1 run during the entirety of that week, and we're now 0-91. The draft should be starting the next day after this, I think. And yeah, Jung is staying exactly where he was. We did get his interest higher, which is nice. And we were scouting out Brian Shin. He is still an intriguing player, Brian Shin. I feel like I might actually have to take Jung first round now, because the draft rank just went up even more. It went from 15 to 13 for our scouts, but draft rank for the MLB still says not rated. I don't know if I should risk it that he's going to fall to the second round. I think he will fall to the second round just because he wasn't projected to get drafted. So I think I might still take that risk. Now, what's interesting is Hayashi's still supposed to get undrafted, based on our scouting rank as well. He's going to have a pretty damn low overall for a 20-year-old, which just kind of sucks, 43 to 55, but he could have a good ceiling. 20 years old isn't the oldest, so at least he's not like a 22-plus-year-old, but still, yeah, he's probably going to be a later pick for sure, like a 5 or 6 rounder, just like Nick was mentioning. But Brian Shin is looking actually kind of intriguing so far. We only have him 40% scouted, so it's not the best case scenario, but he might have a overall of 43 to 70, and his potential might be a 60 to 87, so that's a little bit of a risky pick. I might take him in like a 5 or 4 rounds, somewhere around there. Don't know exactly. He might be intriguing, but it depends on what other Asians are available at that point in time. So anyways, we are done with our scouting pool. The draft should be the next day, and then we're going to add every single Asian to our pool and start up the draft. So let's sim through date, and it should have us... Do we have one more week? Oh yeah, we must have one more week. I guess so. We'll just keep it on that. We might find out a little bit more about Brian Shin. So the draft should be right around here. Yep, there we go. Go to draft. Let's add every single Asian prospect now that we scouted out. There should be around 22 of them. We'll start in each position. So let's see. Walter Jung. Yeah, Walter honestly could be our first round pick, but I'm honestly thinking of waiting until the second round and taking Iwamura in the first round. Iwamura was born in Indiana, but he is an American that is probably second generation Japanese, my guess. So let's add all these guys to our draft queue here. Do it by each position. It's usually the guys that are probably some more scouted out that would be Asian, but Na as well is kind of intriguing. It'll be interesting to see how much of these guys are still on the board after the first round. I hope we do a good job at this year's draft, because it would be good to get off to a great start, but obviously if we don't get off to a great start, we just got to hope for a better draft next year. I think there was one relief pitcher that I was scouting out well. Oh yeah, it was Tom Koo. Yeah, Tom Koo is a guy that's probably not going to go in this draft for us, but who knows, maybe we'll end up taking him anyways at some stage if we get stuck. Or if somebody else takes our picks. Hopefully nobody takes our players we want. That's the one scary thing about this, and also the fact that they might not want to sign with us. But we should be able to sign everybody because we got an allotment money of almost 14 million bucks. So let's see. I don't think there was any closers, right? Yeah, no closers whatsoever. There was Yamazaki. There was Takashi. Yeah, I'm really excited though to get into this finally because I feel like the draft is going to be the most exciting part of every season for quite a while just because we're not going to be a good team at all at the beginning. So it should be interesting to see what we get. Was that it already? No, that wasn't already it. Oh, no, it was. Okay. So that's first base. What about second? I think some of these positions literally had like nobody whatsoever, but some people, our positions had multiple people on it. Ronald Parkey's kind of an intriguing one still, even though he might not have the best potential in the world. He might be like a last pick resort kind of guy. But I'm hoping that these guys are actually good. Robert Yabu is another Japanese guy. I forgot about that we didn't really even scout at all. We'll just add him to the draft queue even though we didn't scout him enough. Because he's an Asian guy for sure, so. See if we could find any more to add to this class. Nobody at our shortstop. I think there was a couple outfielders if I remember right. But I think they were at right and center. Oh man. It sucks that we aren't drafting like normal players because this Ricky O'Neal guy looks like a friggin' beast. But he doesn't fit the theme of being an Asian player. If only Ricky O'Neal was an Asian. Like look at that overall potential maybe. And then the stuff like that. We didn't even have him scouted at all. So he might not actually be that good. I hope the AI makes some dumb mistakes too. Because that would help us maybe in a sense. Oh yeah, John Cato we have here. Vincent SEO. There's 2 SEOs or COs I should say. And then there's Shin 2. And that's it. Okay. So now we have everybody on our list here. So here is our final draft prospects that we have potentially get. So we have Walter Jung, Parka Iwamura, David Na, Koji Sato, Tom Koo, Peter Yamazaki, Hideki or something, Takashi, or Takahashi maybe. Actually, David Seo, Russell Yang, Ronald Park, Robert Yabu, John Cato, Vincent Seo, and Brian Shin. So do I want to reorder this before we get into the draft just in case? Maybe. Yeah, let's reorder this a little bit here. So let's swap the 2 of these guys around just because I think Jung is going to be our second round pick. I'm going to probably take that risk. Maybe just keep them sorted by position still. That would be kind of nice. So Na before Sato. Maybe not. 85%, 100%. Actually, maybe we'll keep it the same on that front. Relief pitchers, okay. For catchers, we have Yamazaki and Takashi. That's good. Yeah, I think the rest of this should be pretty much sorted. I think I'm just going to jump in this draft because we have a couple rounds to do, obviously. Let's see what happens. Let's see what ends up going first, second, and third because we have the 4th overall selection this year. And hopefully we can make our first selection a really good one. So we'll see who ends up going in the first 3. Hopefully none of the Asian guys because that would just be a slap to the face for me. The first 6 players of the draft have been sent. First picks of the draft have been set to via the new MLB draft lottery. The lottery participants were all the teams that. Oh wait, do they still do the draft lottery before the draft, or maybe not? I don't know. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's start up this draft. So Cleveland, the Reds, the Rockies, and then us. Let's see what happens. So who is Cleveland gonna take first? Who are they going to take? Tony Palma. So not an Asian, which is good, but that guy might be a really solid player for them. Who knows? It's a right fielder, and I think right field to me looked like it was going to be maybe a stronger area. So that could be a decent pick, but maybe they whiffed. We'll definitely take a look at other teams as well and see if they actually had good drafts or not. See how stacked this draft class was. Dan Rush going to the Reds. He also could be potentially decent, but he's also 21. Was projected to go 10th by our scouts and 9th by the MLB, so maybe a little bit early for him, maybe not. And then the 3rd overall selection is going to be Ken Pepper. What a name. That might be a huge reach by the Rockies right there. MLB had him at 27. We have him at 31, but we only 5% scouted him. That could also be a good pick, who knows. But Ken Pepper, what a name as a pitcher. And now we're on the clock with our first selection. Yeah, I think Jung's going to be able to fall the next round. Unless some other team found him. I have major interest in Jung. but I'm going to take Iwamura here, I think, with our first ever selection, just because I think Jung will fall to the next round. I don't know if any of you guys are going to hate me for doing this, but I think it's the right move here early on, because Iwamura is for sure a good thing and a high overall. He might not have as high of the potential as Jung, but he will be a higher overall likely. So unless our scouts are completely incorrect, which would not be good. But let's take Parker Iwamura with our first selection in franchise history. There he is. He looks pretty good in the colors. Number 84. Okay. He opted out of his doctor's exam, but we don't really care too much about that. His bonus demand is going to be pretty high, but that's because he was projected to go pretty early. So our scouts had him at 14. The MLB had him actually at number 4, so we might have taken him exactly where he was supposed to go. Eric Arabu goes. So is that one of the Asians or no? No, it's an Alabama guy. That doesn't even sound like a guy that would be from Alabama. Charles Knoll going to the Royals. We won't sim to our next pick until the end of the first round, just because I want to take a look at this first round and make sure none of our top players go off the board here. Sam Burgos going to the Cardinals. He could end up being pretty good, but he is also 21. Projected to go 15th by both our scout and the MLB. Manuel Navarro goes. So another guy we wouldn't have been able to get anyways, going to the Angels. He was projected to go 11th by our scouts, 13th by the MLB. Daryl Salazar goes. He might have been way earlier or way later than he was supposed to go. He's another right fielder. Like I said, right field might be a good area. So Daryl Salazar could be a strong pick there by the Pirates, but maybe not. There goes Ricky O'Neill, who we thought might be a really good player. He goes to the Washington Nationals. Our scouts didn't scout him really at all, but he was projected the unanimous number 1 pick. So is he actually going to be that good? Joey Hamlin going to the Detroit Tigers. And then John Cato goes off the board. Damn, man. That's one of the guys I was maybe looking at. Right field as well. Our draft ranked had him at 107. Our scouts might be way off with some of these people, which has me a bit scared. So there's one guy off the board that we cannot draft, unfortunately. So I am actually pretty scared now that he already went off the board. But I think right field's just a strong spot, because that's like the 3rd right fielder to go in this first round here. A lot of pitchers going as well. It's good that we still have Jung out there, but hopefully he lasts into the next round. We do not have an incentive pick, I don't think. Yeah, we don't have an incentive pick, and we don't have a round balance pick, so we have a while still before we pick. We are the first pick in the 2nd round, which is nice, but Crew Parsons going to the Miami Marlins. David Fernandez going to the Brewers. Oh, I need a drink of water. I just ate food before this, so. Dewey Haynes going to the Tampa Bay. Why can't I think of Tampa Bay's name? Oh, man, I feel like a noob saying that. Anthony Wolf going to the Mets. Couple guys, maybe huge reaches. Like this Wolf guy might be really good, but it might be a huge reach. Nolan Aparicio going to the Blue Jays. Who is going to go to the Twins at 21. James Hutchins. Might be a reach, but might not be by much. Actually might be right around his normal spot based on the MLB ranking. The Baltimore Orioles. Who are they going to select? Luis Visperas. Or Visperas. 3rd base. It seems like a lot of 3rd basemen are also going here early on. At least in my opinion. Who are the Dodgers taking? Ricky Martinez. Ricky Martinez. From North Carolina. Or North Kakalaki. Is that what they call it? Miguel Silva going to the Braves. I'm interested to see what a lot of these AI teams are grabbing here once we actually get to the results. That's going to be interesting. Phil Feliz going to the Padres. Who's going to go to the Yankees? The Yankees are going to take Jesus Guzman, who is a center fielder. A lot of outfielders, I feel like, going in this early stage as well, which is interesting. The Phillies are going to take Brian Wise, another guy with a great beard. Maybe a little bit earlier than he was supposed to go. Or maybe not. The Astros take Paul Rowley. Paul Rowley. Okay. A lot of these guys we wouldn't have been able to select anyways, so kind of good to see them getting off the board. Edmund Dudek. Or Dudek? Yeah, probably Dudek. Going to the Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers with the final pick in the first round. select Steven Cervantes. Okay. Now we could actually sim to our pick. And is Jung still on the board? He is. Perfect. That's perfect. So, did we lose any other Asian guys? Does not look like it. Does not look like it. Perfect. So we are going to take Walter Jung here with our second round pick. Our scouts think he's a really good player for us, so I'm going to trust him in that and take him with our second round selection. So there is Walter Jung, our second round selection here in Tokyo. Hopefully he's actually that good because he was not projected to get drafted, but our scouts think he's one of the best players maybe in this draft. So I like that. The question is now, are we going to be able to have more of these guys still on the board when we pick next? I'm kind of scared to quick sim, but we got to quick sim now because or else it's going to just take way too long to get through this episode. Let's see. Did anybody go off the board? I think somebody did. Or a couple maybe went off the board. Just trying to see who went off the board here. Nobody over there. Maybe nobody actually... Oh, David Na did go off the board, and Koji Sato. I was expecting those guys to go at some stage. So there is David Na. He ends up going to Cleveland, and then Koji Sato going to the Pirates, which makes sense because he's from Pennsylvania. Kind of neat. Okay. Our next pick here at the end of the competitive round balance pick, number B. Definitely not going for Ku here. Let's take a look at draft ranking wise where our scouts see these guys going. 68 on Yamazaki. I'm going to mostly trust our scouts here in that sense. Brian Shin might be an interesting player to take because there has been some good right fielders, but he also could be pretty damn weak. CO also is kind of intriguing to be honest, but he's not scouted really at all. I think I'm going to go with Yamazaki here because our scouts have scouted him out mostly other than the other guys. So we're going to take Peter Yamazaki to catcher here. Might be a bit early, but we're going to take him with our next selection. He's a 40 to 60 overall maybe and a 73 to 93 potential, so it's a major risk, but he's also a younger guy. I like taking the younger options over the older ones. Let's hope that there's still some Asians on our board in the next round. Let's sim to the next pick. I don't think anybody else went off the board, which is nice. Who do I want to take now? We only have a minute between these selections now because we're in these later stages, which is kind of annoying. 100, 96, 159, 189, 124, 200, 116, and 143. I feel like I want to trust the MLB almost with Shin, but I don't at the same time. Hideki we could probably wait on a little bit longer. This is tough. I hate having only a minute to make a choice here. Like, I don't know if that's a bug or not. Let's go with Vincent CO here. We're going to take a chance on Vincent. Take a chance on Vincent. We don't know anything about him too much. Could be a good player. Could be also a really bad player. Oh, man. Let's sim to our next pick. I don't know if anybody went off the board. I don't think anybody went off the board again. Maybe somebody did, actually. Yeah, I think one of the other right fielders went off the board. Yeah, Brian Shin went off the board just after Vincent CO, so maybe we made the right selection there. But Vincent CO going to the Mets. Okay. We only have 40 seconds to make this next selection. God damn. Only 5 Asians left on the board. We have the other CO, who's a first baseman, 150, 160, not rated. Not rated, but our scouts say 100. And our scouts say 96 on Ku. We're going to take Ku here. I'm just going to trust my scouts with some of these other selections. So there is Tom Ku. Hopefully he's pretty good. The other guy went off the board right afterwards. Maybe I should have taken the other dude. Hideki Takahashi. The one that could have been a decent player. Who knows? Maybe not. He ends up going to the Reds. Okay, so we got 3 players that we could take left at most in this draft and almost near the end of it. So that's at least good. So we have CO. Not really sold on him. Yang's not bad. I feel like Yang would be better than CO maybe. Yeah, I think I like him a little bit better. Yeah, I think I'd like Yang a little bit better. And then this guy's a complete crapshoot, though, because we've only 10% scouted him. So I think I'm going to take Russell Yang here. And I think CO might go off the board, and we'll probably take Yabu with our last pick. So we're kind of getting multiple guys in each position. So we got Russell Yang right there. Is Yabu going to be on the board still in our next round? Yes, he is. Okay, CO went shortly afterwards. CO went all the way to the Toronto Blue Jays at 158, which means our final pick of this draft, because I think there's only 6 rounds, we are going to take Robert Yabu, who's from Japan, so that's kind of nice. And I think that's our last pick of the draft, right? We don't have any more selections. Yep, that is it. Perfect. We got enough Japanese and our Asian players in general. We didn't actually have to draft somebody that's white that we're not going to be able to use, so that's good. Okay, so the draft is done. Now we got to sim a few days before we can actually start signing our players. No, we do not want to play the home run derby. And then we can actually see who made the all-star game for us, I guess. Because I think you have to have a player for each team, right? Yeah, I think it's a player a team. Let's just double check. I don't think we should have an all-star based on how bad our team is, but yeah, we want to go play game. I don't remember exactly how to do this type of thing. It's been too long. We will play full game. And we are technically in the AL, I think. Are we in the NL? I don't remember exactly. I'll double check on both teams, but let's see these rosters here. I don't even know who's technically on our roster, and I don't really care too much. Just got to look for a 1 overall guy if there's anybody that actually made it for us. Oh, there he is. Joaquin Zarco made it for us. The lowest overall player you'll ever see in an all-star game. Joaquin Zarco. How is he playing this year? 3 RBIs and a 156 average, and he's in the all-star game. Love to see it. Love to see it. And that's our only all-star representation, of course, because we are a dog crap team. Okay, let's advance a day, and now we could probably start signing those. No, not yet. Soon we should be able to. There we go. Okay, so let's start signing those prospects up. I know how it works. I think most of them have enough interest already. Like, yeah, Jung already has a lot of interest, which is nice. So let's see if I could already sign Jung up here. Let's just go a little bit more than he's wanting for. And he's already decided to sign with the Tropic Turtles. Let's go, Walter. There we go. The first player to ever sign with them. And then Iwamura should be pretty easy as well. Yep, nice. We already got 2 guys signed up. These other guys, not as much interest. We'll try and get Yang already because he's already above 50%. He declines that first offer, which kind of sucks. Let's remove him from the list. Who else is above 50? Nobody else. So let's get these other guys on there and get their interest a little bit higher so we could actually offer them a contract. So we got to go to here, I think. Yes, let's stop. Boom. That's good. We already got our first 2 good picks signed up. We could already offer Yamazaki a contract. Let's try and get him at 54%. He also declines. Goddamn, man. Let me remove him. Actually, no, we'll keep him there just to get that interest higher. But there is that one guy also that I need to offer a contract to, which is Yang here. Come on, Russell. 69? Nah, he's not going to accept 69. That kind of sucks. Let's remove him again for now and get Koo back on there. I think we should be able to sign all our prospects hypothetically, but if we don't, that will be kind of detrimental. There you go. We can now offer contracts again. Let's try Yamazaki again here. Come on, guys. You need to really sign contracts here. I don't like when people do not accept. It's kind of... Oh, my goodness. I really need to get these people signed up here. Oh, Robert Yabu needs that interest way higher. Goddamn. I should actually move him to the first priority player right now, just to get that interest meter much higher. Let's change him to there, and we'll get another guy like Yamazaki to get some more interest. Let's see. Okay, come on, guys, please. I just need you to accept your contracts. That's all I'm asking for. Let's get you much higher than that. 61. Hey, there you go. Yamazaki accepts. We'll try and get Yang now. 66. He signs. How much money do we have left? 2.56. We should be able to sign everybody here. Yep, perfect. Let's just make sure we can get CO here at 56. Thank you. And these are the last 2 guys we just need to get interest for, and we only have 8 days left to sign them. Auto-fix lineups. Perfect. Okay, we could offer Kua a contract again. Let's get him to 56%. He declines. Come on, Tom. Yabu's getting that interest higher, which is good. There's another 2 losses, of course. We still have yet to win a game. We're 0-107, which is hilarious. Tom Koo is still rejecting me. Only have a couple more days left to sign these guys, so I'm kind of scared that we might not get them all signed. But I need to get them signed here. Okay, now let's see if we can get you signed up. How much are you asking for? Only 300k in bonus development money, so let's get you up to 63. Come on, Tom. We're gonna have to wait till the last day to sign Tom. But can we get Yabu? Yes, we can. Okay. That means everything else is going to Tom Koo, or else he might not sign with us, which would kind of suck. Okay, last day to sign players from the draft class. He's at 64%. We should be able to get him up to 71%. Can you please accept Tom, or else we're going to have to sign you in free agency in the offseason? Okay, he accepts. Perfect. We get everybody signed up. That's good. It only took all the days to sign them, but that's okay. So if we advance one more day now, we should be able to see what we drafted in this year's draft class. I am pretty scared to see what we end up drafting, but I'm also very excited. And also, we got to take a look at the rest of the league as well still in this episode. So, did we make the right selection with Parker Iwamura with our first ever pick in franchise history? It's not bad. 65 at 19 is pretty damn solid. And he's a B potential. I mean, it's basically what we kind of expected, because it did say that he could be like a 90 potential guy. And his overall is pretty damn good. So, I don't mind that pick quite a bit. He does have pretty much a good balance of stats. His home runs per 9 is a little bit lower than everything else. Velocity maybe a bit lower too. His arm, but that's not bad. Let's take a look at his other attributes if I can. He's definitely not a two-way player, but that's okay. So yeah, not a bad pick. I like that a lot. He has a four-seamer, a changeup, a slider, and a sinker. That's a pretty solid first pick. The question is this next guy going to be as good as we were thinking? Let's see how good he is. A potential 58. That's not bad. I mean, a 58 at 19 is, yeah, it's actually pretty solid, I would say. A potential is phenomenal. So we did find a great steal with Walter Young. It's probably pronounced Young, not Jung, right? I don't know. But obviously he's more of a project guy, but those walks per 9 is pretty damn good. Obviously he needs to still work on his hits per 9, his Ks a 9, his home runs a 9. But that's a very exciting player for the future of this team, I think. Depending if it's a 99 potential or not. The question is he a two-way, like you guys were thinking? No, he is not. And it sucks. Really low on contact hitting, power, all that type of thing. But he is actually a pretty good fielder, it looks like, I think. Let me see. Yeah, he's decent at fielding. His fielding's only a 35, but does have the arm, the accuracy, the reaction's not really that great, so maybe he's not actually as good fielding-wise as we were thinking, but still, there is Walter Young or Jung. Our next selection, I can't remember who was next at this pick. Yamazaki, B potential 52. We're off to a pretty good start, I would say, in terms of actually drafting people with good potential. Yeah, I like that. Obviously, he's a little bit low in a lot of things. He's only 18 though, so he's more of a project guy, but still, that's not bad. Yeah, that's definitely a good guy to build around, I guess, in terms of catcher. He does have the good blocking and reaction. His arm's not bad. His fielding's pretty decent, so should be able to help us out defensively quite a bit. Our next selection, Vincent CEO. Maybe. His contact hitting against righties is okay, but the other's not so much. But his vision and discipline is very low too. I don't think he's very that great of a pick, but maybe he could outgrow that C potential. He is a 48 at 18 though, which is pretty damn low. But he's got good speed, good stealing, so maybe a pinch runner. Who knows? But I don't mind it. Definitely not the best pick though we've had so far. Our next pick, Tom Koo, C potential 59. He's going to be a useful relief pitcher with C potential at least, but his walks per 9 is really fantastic compared to everything else. He also does have the velocity, but a lot of other stats are kind of just average, but he should still develop into being a solid reliever for us, I think, at the major league level, depending if he's a 75 potential guy. But there's Tom Koo. Our next pick, Russell Yang. Hey, not bad. B potential, but 42 at 20 is dreadful. So he's got potential, but being that low of an overall at 20, he's probably not going to make like the majors by the time he's like 30 plus. Like, he's definitely a long shot at making it. His contact hitting is better than his power, but he's more of a steal guy. It looks like some speed. His durability is decent, but he might be just more of a stopgap in this roster. But 42 at 20 is damn low as hell. But I like it that he has a good potential at least, but he definitely needs to develop really quickly if he wants to make the majors. And then our last pick was complete trash. D potential, Robert Yabu at 50 overall. We didn't think he was going to be super good. It sucks that he's not going to be super good. He probably will play on the roster next season just to get him in already. But his contact hitting, not bad actually. His contact is good. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Needs more vision and discipline, but in general, not the best player. And not a great potential either, so he's probably not going to develop into being anything huge for us at all. So there was our draft. Now the question is, what are these overall potentials looking like? 82 potential for Iowa Murr is kind of lower than I was expecting, but he obviously could get that higher if he plays good. Young has a 98 potential, so I'm really excited for Walter. Yamazaki has an 85 potential. That's pretty solid. CO with a 76 potential is kind of useful for a right fielder still. Tom Koo only a 70 potential. Maybe he could become better than that, but that's still a low-end reliever, I think. Russell Yang, an 84 potential is not bad, but being 42 at 20 really sucks. And then Robert Yabu is complete trash. 64 potential is damn low as shit. 50 overall is not great either. I would say it's an okay first draft for us. It's not bad. It's definitely not as bad as that script font that shows the overall rating, because that is tragic. I don't know how MLB decided to choose that for this game, but it's legit the worst font I've ever seen for a sports game. Anyways, let's take a look at how the rest of the teams did across the league and see if we actually missed out on anything interesting with any of those Asian players or any good players in general. Henry Chavez, pretty good, solid pick there for the Mariners. 87 potential. I'll pretty much just skim through all these teams here unless I see something crazy. Cervantes is 23. 68 is not bad, but 23 years old already. He does have 89 potential. Maybe he becomes decent. The question is there any generational players in this draft, or did we mess up on some of these guys? I don't think any of the Asians went so far. Not a good draft for the Braves. Not a good draft at all. The Marlins. Solid pick there with Crew Parsons, 69 overall at 18. Pedro Guillen, 75 overall at 23, 88 potential. Kind of interesting. What else we got here? The New York Mets. Anthony Wolf is pretty good. 62 at 20, a little bit low, but 96 potential. He might become a really good contact hitter. Brian Shin was not that good. So it's kind of good that we didn't take Brian Shin. He is also kind of a mid player. 52 overall at 18, 69 potential. Yeah, he's not great. That's not really good speed and stealing, though. So there is Shin. One of the guys we could have drafted. What else we got here? Not a great draft, really, too much, it looks like, for the Phillies. Some okay picks. Actually, 74 at 19 is great. Pablo Ayala. That's a pretty good pick there by the Phillies in terms of overall rating. What else you got here? Ricky O'Neal was not that great. Our scouts were thinking, and MLB was thinking he was good. 74 at 21 is pretty damn good, but 68 potential. Yikes. That guy's a pretty good power hitter, though, as a deep potential dude. Interesting. What else we got here? 98 potential, Jason McCain. Damn. Any other people interesting here? Roger Haley. Okay. What else we got here? There's Dan Rush, who went third overall, or was it second overall? I think it was second. 93 potential, 69 overall, 21. Okay. There is Takahashi. He would have been an interesting pick, too. 53 at 19 is kind of low, but 77 potential. Pretty balanced hitting stats. So there's another guy we missed out on, unfortunately. But still. So there he is. The Brewers. Fernandez is okay. but they didn't have the best draft either, it looks like, on paper. The Pirates, Koji Sato, is he actually going to be that good? 61 at 18, 77 potential. The potential is not super high, but I mean, that's a solid starting overall for an 18-year-old. So that's not a bad player by any stretch. Could be a good number 5 or number 6 pitcher in the lineup for the Pirates. Burgos, pretty good. Casillas, 49 overall at 18. Damn, some guys are really low overall wise in this class so far. Not the best draft there for the Diamondbacks. Ken Pepper, who went 3rd overall, I think, 66 at 18, 90 potential. That's a pretty good pick there for the Rockies. Oliva, yeah, 62 at 23. Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton, not the F1 driver. I gotta remove my face just so I can get like an actual screenshot of that. That's hilarious. Lewis Hamilton. You guys didn't tell me that Lewis Hamilton went from playing in the F1 or driving in F1 to this. That's hilarious. Oh man. Okay. What else we got here? Alex Bonilla, and 55 at 21 is kind of low. Phil Feliz. I'm more interested in the other Asian players that we could have drafted if I could find them. Jack Hernandez is 69 at 21. That's not bad. Bobby Schaefer, 44 at 21, 88 potential. Jeez. Yeah, a lot of these guys aren't going to make the majors, or it's going to take them a long-ass time to. I think we had a solid draft, all things considered. John Cato went to Boston's 50 overall, 22, 75 potential. I'm glad we didn't take John Cato. Yeah, he's really good at speed and stealing, but that's it. Seems like a lot of those outfielders were really good at speed and stealing, but that's all they were good at. So we dodged a bullet with John Cato. I mean, he has 75 potential, so he's going to be a useful player maybe, but it's not great starting overall for a 22-year-old, for sure. So that's it for Boston. The Yankees, their first pick was a pretty damn high overall. Jesus Guzman, 73 overall at 19. Really good power, contact, hitting guy. Some of these teams made some really good selections here. What else we got here? Some of them went unsigned, so that's why we don't know their overall rating, just in case you don't play this game. What else we got here? Ray Colligan, 56 at 22. Oof. Goddamn. Daryl Messias, 48 at 22, 95 potential. I kind of hate those type of players, though, that are low potentials, but their age also screws them over. Aparicio, he's decent. He's pretty good. David Seo, 43 at 18. So this is another guy we were looking at, but he only has C potential. 78 potential is not bad, but obviously it's going to take him a bit of time with him being only a 43. What else we got here? I think we got maybe the highest potential player in the draft, though, it seems like at this rate, with the 98, which is nice. David Nahl went unsigned. Huh. That's interesting. And I can't even take a look at his player card because he went unsigned. He was actually a pretty high up pick, too. Like, I think he was, like, 2nd round? Yeah, I think he was 2nd round because I think Garcia was a competitive round balance pick, if I'm not mistaken. Huh. That's interesting. Ronald Park was signed, though, and we were looking at him. 52 at 18, 73 potential. He's got good contact. Huh. Not bad. But, yeah, David Nahl being unsigned is kind of interesting. The question is, if players go unsigned in the draft afterwards, do they re-enter the draft? Because if so, then maybe we get to see David Nahl again next year, or do they just go to free agency depending on age? Because it would be interesting to bring those guys still type of things in. Steven Ahn. That's another Asian that I completely forgot about adding to our draft pool. Yeah. He went to the Tigers. 56 at 21 is pretty low, but 79 potential. Okay. What else we got here? Anything else in this draft that's actually intriguing? I wouldn't say this is definitely a lower end draft class, though. And I think we did okay, all things considered. No Asians there. Houston, they didn't take any Asians either. Wait, did I see a 35 overall? God damn, Guillermo. 35 overall. You're barely like a normal person. Like, you're better than everybody on our roster right now, but still 35 at 18, 71 potential. That's definitely the lowest overall I think I've ever seen for a guy that's not on our roster. God damn, man. Yeah, this draft class definitely had a lack of good players overall wise. Yeah, I think we might have had one of the better drafts compared to every other team. We definitely got the highest overall potential guy in Walter Young, though. He might have been one of the only A potentials in this draft class as well. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will probably simulate the rest of the season. We'll probably also maybe try and get some of the off-season done in the next episode just to kind of get ourselves through these early seasons as fast as possible, because obviously we want to just continue building up our team via these drafts. So getting to the draft fast as possible is always a good thing. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.